Okay, you guys, this is a trailer for a sci-fi teen series, it says, and I'm just now noticing that it's going to be a Netflix show, so that's cool. I will have access to this whenever it comes out, and um, it's called The Unlisted, and already just looking at this opening shot makes me think that it's going to be something that I'm interested in, but I have no clue what it's about, so once I watch the trailer, I might change my mind, but I'm already quite intrigued. So we'll see how it is.
You will all be participating in the new Global Child Initiative program. We're just going to do a checkup and a gum treatment.
क्या? Every kid in our class, we've all been implanted.
They want to control us.
Tim, wait!
Hello? Anyone there?
We're the ones that time forgot.
Hello?
Who are you guys?
We're the Unlisted, and so are you.
We will locate every homeless, lost, vulnerable child, because all children deserve academic and medical benefits.
They're tracking kids,
Where's your twin?
messing with their heads, and making them super strong.
We need your help.
Don't trust anyone.
We are the Unlisted, and together we take back our world.
Okay. This reminds me a little bit of the dystopian Divergent, similar-ish to that. Certainly nothing I haven't seen before. I don't mind teen series shows or teen-centered or teen-centric movies, but it really just depends on the genre and, of course, the writing. I really, really liked Teen Wolf the first season or two, and then the writing started to get kind of weak, and it just got to be very formulaic, very routine, just same old sort of thing, and so it got a bit boring after a while. There were some things that they showed in there that, different story elements that sort of added a semi-interesting twist on things, but by then it was just the magic of the first season or two was gone. And I did finish watching the series just to actually, finally be able to say I'm done watching it. And, I was sad to see it go in a sense because, you grow attached to the characters. I like the dynamic between several of them. Wasn't crazy about some of the other ones that came in after certain characters left. But I feel like that particular show should have ended probably about 2 or 3 seasons before it did. Obviously, it's way too soon to tell with something like this, and just because it says it's a series on Netflix doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be something that is planned to come back. Maybe it's just going to be a limited series, and it's just going to be a handful of episodes, and then it's going to be done. No clue. Netflix does things, differently than like a typical, channel does on like a regular TV. So we'll see. I mean, already I'm intrigued by it. I do like things like this, and I'm interested to see where it's going to go. It's not anything that jumps out at me as super hugely interesting. Well, super hugely different. Like, this seems very much similar to other types of things I've seen before, as I already mentioned. So, excuse me. It's not like it's anything that just really has grabbed me. Like, I feel, oh my gosh, I am super excited about this. It's not like that. As far as the trailer goes, it was pretty efficiently done. 1 minute and 16 seconds is how long it takes to get to this Netflix screen right here. So yeah, it was well done in that regard. You have they just get to the point of telling you pretty quickly what it's about, and introduce you to the different handfuls of like the oh, what's the word? I can't even think of the word I'm looking for. Like the underground people, not underground, but you know, the people that are hiding, the kids that are unlisted because they don't conform for whatever reason. They haven't conformed to this thing that the society they're in is trying to make them conform to. You know, like the whole, you know, some of the stuff that they've touched on with regard to the way society can be with regard to children that are different, that don't fit into the typical mold, especially with regard to things like in an academic setting, let's say school, the lower schools, like, you know, K through 12. Kids that don't learn in the typical way, they have a harder time adapting than children who are easily able to fit into that, you know, pre-molded sort of concept of this is how you're supposed to learn. You know, I mean, our education system here in the States was modeled after the Prussian military, and it was created with the intent of churning out a workforce for industry that was smart enough to follow instructions and direction, but not smart enough to question authority. And that sort of, in a lot of ways, still holds true, you guys. I mean, that's very much still built into our education system. And so anyone who thinks differently, who learns differently, has a harder time. Now, certainly there have been things that have been built into the system or implemented into the system that has made it easier for kids that are different now than, let's say, decades back. But still, you are expected to behave a certain way, to think a certain way, to learn a certain way in general. And so, in my opinion, seeing something like this, sort of, it's kind of like a, I can't think of the right words I'm trying to use to describe, but this reminds me of that, sort of like, you know, giving you a fiction or dystopian take on things like that are already in our society, just kind of blowing it so much, you know, more out of proportion or making it so much worse and showing you how bad it can really be when things like this go unchecked. Well, it's not, I guess I wouldn't say it's unchecked. It looks to me like everybody, the adults in power or whatever, are the ones that have allowed this to happen. It's not unchecked. It was very intentional. That's what's coming across to me. I feel like I've rambled. I've gone on into other sort of like political, societal type things. I didn't mean to do that, but you know, it kind of makes me mad when I see things like this, you know, happening, and I can relate to, I can relate this or equate stuff like this to what is already going on in society. And, you know, and it kind of frustrates me to see stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, this is certainly something that I am down for checking out. I'm not going to rush out to play it as soon as it comes out. But certainly something that will go onto my watch list, onto my to-watch list. And I think that's it for this one, you guys. I'm going to wrap it up. Bye.